Hey guys, Luna here, and we are back with Pesterquest. Last we left off, we just had made friends with Kakarats. Yeah, expected is shipping. Nabra would be proud. Now we're going to be moving on to befriending Kanaya, which is she is actually one of the only Jade Blood, I believe, that's part of the group. So, I'm just writing down her spelling of her name because I always forget how these guys' names are spelled. So, for Volume 5, Route 2, I have plenty of friends of Kanaya. The main trigger warning, the language, violence, and all that, is blood, specifically. So, let's get it right into it, shall we? So, I have plenty of friends. Volume 5, Route 2. So you're learning more about yourself every day. For example, while you already knew that friendship was everything, you're now realizing that staying with friends is not a priority. Okay. At least that must be right, because you keep leaving friends and starting over again. Why are you doing this? Probably a deeply held value of some kind. That makes sense. Okay, so you're ready to meet more friends, and the only place you've seen new people recently has been on Jade's dream planet. You step over there. This time, something's different. It seems to be a different part of the day than before. The overhead clouds that previously served as fluffy ambient backdrops are now alive with images. Here's striking a dark world, a planet covered in sugar mountains dotted with goofy giant teapots, a young gray-skinned alien girl running around catching frogs. These must be the clouds Jade was referencing, the ones she said could never be wrong. Well, you can take guidance from them too. You've trusted more than one dubious thing than clouds. You're zoning in on that frog girl with the short haircut and the red skirt. Time for the zappy thing. It's always night on Troll Planet, at least when folks are out and about, but it's not usually this dark. You confidently head out and start exploring your surroundings and immediately run into a wall face first. Okay, you're getting your bearings now. You end up in some kind of closet. You refrain from making a hackneyed joke about it. They probably don't even have cultural metaphor here. And the noise you elicited an answering yelp of surprise in the room outside. You hear footsteps approaching you, and then someone yanks the door open. That's not what I was expecting her to look like. Hello. What the fuck? I expected her hair to be down, not sort of floofy like that. Opening the door has allowed a beam of bright sunlight to fall across your face. You feel instinctively that the light is something to avoid. You hold your hands up to shield your face, and remember that your hands also are made of skin and whimper. The heat is doing its best to fry you like a vampire in a movie. You're sure that idle thought will not end up having any relevance to this troll girl or story whatsoever. So are you? Did you just wander here, or what? Something like that, you tell her, cringing away from the light. You get the feeling that this girl is not going to fall for their own mailman gambit. Mail patrol? You tell her you know one of her other friends. Ooh, wait, is it F? He makes friends with all kinds. Well, I obviously can't kick you out right now. You don't seem to be able to handle the sun. So I guess you better stick around until at least nighttime. You could easily zap to nighttime, but this is giving you an in. So instead, you agree. No problem. You can just hang out in this closet, it's fine. It's a lovely closet. We just met, but you are being kind of weird. It's a kind of weird that eventually becomes charming. You don't say that, though. You just think it. You know the barrier between words and your thoughts is ambiguous at best, but for real. Anyway, you have no obligation to shuffle around in my wardrobeifying assets chamber. I have a solution. Pulling the shades, maybe? Oh, Why would I deprive my plants of life-giving sunlight for a fragile-skinned creature I've never met before? It is another solution. A minute later, you're dressed in a floor-length gown of emerald velvet, with long sleeves, a high neckline, and dramatic hood to pull over your head. The dress does nothing for the heat, but it effectively shields you from the sunlight. There you go. All sawed up like a baby, you joke. The troll just gives you a leveled look. Clearly, you've stumbled on a cultural misalignment. Even though she's the one who hasn't even heard of a baby, she stares at you until you start feeling embarrassed for knowing things that she doesn't know. She is very good at staring contests. An amazing potential friend. Now, out of the closet, you now know that joke won't land either. You look around the room. It is indeed covered in plants, and well as colorful bolts of fabric and half-finished sewing projects. Unlike Rose's knitting disarray, it does not give the impression of someone who has difficulty finishing things. This troll's room gives the impression of someone who enjoys, even excels at having multiple irons in hot places, or at least she thinks she does. She seems to have been on her computer thing when you zapped in because her chat client is flashing insistently. Tried to peer at the open window, but she hits a button and makes the projection disappear. A delicate green of flush rising to her cheeks. No need to look at that. Mentally, you remember spying on Rose when she caught you out. You thought for a second that your chances of being her friend had run out, like if there was a universe where you didn't become her friend and one where you didn't. You stumbled clumsily into the wrong one, the bad one, if you will. But luckily, everything turned out fine. Maybe you could get away with it again? Plus, this troll doesn't even know about your powers yet, not like Rose did. She would have no reason to suspect you. I'm going to spy on the troll's communications. You excuse yourself to, you don't know what you call it here, the necessities. You wave your the embarrassed way, and the troll gets it. Out of her sight, you zap back to a few minutes ago, just outside the door to the room you're in now. You wait until you hear the thump of yourself arriving in the closet, and the troll abandoning her desk. Then you quickly zap in the room and read her current chat. It is just cannot escape my notice that the last 3 times he contacted me was to ask if I finished your dress yet. Under these circumstances, I find it trying to believe that you want it for no particular reason. I wish you would tell me why it's so important. Of course you do. Fussy Fangs always has to have a reason for everything. Maybe I just want a present from Morale. Did you think of that? Or are you too busy fussing around in your fuss plot? Maybe I'm being nice, or did you think that I can be nice sometimes? I know you can be. When you want sort of, are we Morales again then? No, yesterday you said defining our relationship was something only lame dorks do. Yeah, my Morales is a super lame dork. That's you, Fang Face. It's just that I can't help but notice that I'm your morale again right now, and you want something from me. You notice a lot, don't you? Always noticing something. I bet you would be shocked to know how much you don't see. Even you don't even know half the time I have going on. Have I even pretended to know what is going on with you? Please allow me to apologize for such a gross misrepresentation of my reality. Whatever, can you just tell me if you finished it yet? Hello, Kanaya? Login's there. He sat back before, or past you is done changing into the dress, and re-enter the room. Kanaya is back at her lunchbox computer, typing furiously. You have to handle this situation delicately. She can't know you're spying on her. You already said that you know Kakara. You hedge your bets on all of them sharing the same friend group. You ask her carefully if she happens to know your other friend as, Acrid Grips? The little green flush darkens Kanya's cheeks again. She bites her lip, showing one kind of adorable thing. Yes, I know her. Why? You're sure that helping Kanaya figure out her situation with this girl is key to earning her friendship. A big, juicy, interpersonal conflict to solve has been dangling in front of you, and nothing makes friends more reliably. But then again, you don't really know anything about this other trio. You don't even know her name. Just her handle. Can you really be of use to Kanaya? especially when your knowledge of the girl is based on the foundation of lies. Is this the right way to go? I'm gonna offer to help her with AG. Just widely, you and this girl whose name you do totally know go way back. In fact, if Kanaya wants some help figuring things out with her, you could definitely help. You're an observant person, this part is true, and you help her. And you want to help her, this too. Kanaya thinks it over, looking skeptical. What could you do to help? It's just impossible. Everyone knows that already. I am not breaking new ground about Vriska here. Vriska, that must be your name. Despite Kanya's outward frustration, you keep sensing some kind of guilty affection here. You don't know what immorality is. How could you? You've never heard that word before, but it conjures a feeling inside you, a vague sense of warmth and, for some reason, a dark room and the smell of popcorn. Anyways, it's clearly some kind of intimate relationship, and Kanya's feelings are all wrapped up in it. You know what to do in that kind of situation. She needs to tell Vriska how she feels. You expect Kanaya to brush it off. She hasn't exactly been Miss Emotional Openness so far, and she's about to, but then she wavers. To your surprise, she lets out a heavy sigh and her shoulders slumping. What would be the point? She's not even into the relationship we have now. There's no way she would want to talk about it in a more crimson direction. Oh, so Malice is the ashen diamonds relationship, red. And she wants to take it into the heart-flushed situation. Clearly these feelings have worn down so much, her spiky defenses are weakened. You don't want to cheer on someone's vulnerabilities, but, well, it's hard to forge a friendship without them. You ask her if she's sure about that. Well, no, I can't even ever tell if she's sincere. She makes serious things into jokes and jokes into big dramas. I thought she started calling me her morale as a joke, but she told everyone else about it too. She didn't even ask me what I wanted. Now I don't know how to talk to her about it. Every conversation we have gets so antagonistic. I'm not interested in that quadrant with her. Sometimes it feels like our relationship is just an aggregation of shallow and insecure hostilities. Despite the unfamiliar alien words, this teen's romantic flailing is commonly among all species. You nod sympathetically, but you point out Kanaya isn't happy now, so what should we have to lose if she pressed the issue? Kanaya gives that even scathing gaze again. What is your personal interest in my quadrants, Pesterquest friend? Oops, you pushed it too far. All your recent successes have made you cocky. Revert to the barefaced honesty until you want to get to know better. I have plenty of friends already. I don't even like some of them. And I will think about your unsolicited and unwelcome advice. Advice from a stranger whose presence you are tolerating solely to not be responsible for the death of an innocent is well known to be the best kind of advice. That's not the best. Is it if you never read Homeshock, you know that her chainsaw comes from her lipstick. Finally, she huffs and sighs and throws the chainsaw down on the floor. It disappears again, but a little gold tube rolls away where it landed. Kanaya stalks back to her magic computer lunchbox. She's emanating such a determined air that you don't dare to address her. Maybe she's forgotten about you. If so, it's to your advantage because Kanya's setup projects her windows in a very visible way, and she didn't tell you not to look this time. Oh. You know how basically you refuse to be straightforward with me. You know how you use metaphor with full conscience of its own nose nature, always weave a word that took its emotional misdirection, and basically act in the most infuriating way possible. What? Slow down. What are you talking about? Why did you start calling me Morale? Was it because you actually had those feelings for me? Or did it suit your purpose somehow? If I started calling you my maid sprite, would that make it reality? Is that how it works? You just say things and assume it will happen, like you said instead of talking about it with the other person involved. That time I meant you in an abstract and general sense, not specifically you. Wait. Are you saying you want to be mates mates? You know I am one of the few of us who still likes you. You know... Evidence for song, contradiction for feelings on my part is compelling. I do not think our so-called morales my continued attachment for you. Any outside observer could perceive as much. Wow! I think there was a confession somewhere buried under all that insulting language. You know what, meanie fangs? Let's do it. Let's be mates first. Not smack me. I'm not. Jeez, do you see how unfair you're being? Vriska, be more straightforward. Vriska, talk clearly about your feelings. Define our relationship. And when I do it, this is what I get. Let's flip red. Why not? Wait, really? Yes! Oh my god, oh, she's adorable and happy. Oh. Tanya slams the lunchbox shut and turns to you. She's even more flustered than she was before, and you can't even tell if she's freaked out or thrilled. Maybe she doesn't know. Listen, I have to go somewhere. You can let yourself out, right? You're not stealing anything from me. You open your mouth and about to suggest that you could teleport her where she needs to go, but she rushes past you and down the stairs. Then she's gone. Dang, you've been getting real good mileage lately out of being the person to unite distant friends. Lousy, goddamn stupid independent action. You get the feeling following her wouldn't go over well either. Kanaya probably needs some privacy right now. Unless a friendship aspirant might give up on this point, but your unique skills have honed you in on one thing. This relationship is happening because your advice. Surely once things settle down, Kanaya will remember this and turn to you, ready to embrace you and rain down thanks to your praise and good works. You're not about to wait here, you zap ahead a couple days. Oh, Kanaya. Nothing back in the room indicates that Kanya's ever been back here yet. We try a couple more days for it, still no Kanaya. He's happened again, now you're a week out. The brown edges on some of these leaves suggest that Kanaya has been at her new girlfriend's house this entire time. You're about to give up when you hear the door slam downstairs. Kanaya storms up the winding staircase, stopping dead when she sees you. Oh, someone I don't know here in a delicate emotional time to witness in my compromised state. Whenever I'm on the precipice of a romantic disaster, I always think to myself, I wish a deformed stranger was in my house refusing to leave, just to bear witness to my intellectual suffering. Okay, wow, that's harsh. You're beginning to think your strategy is not going to pan out. Never one to be deterred easily, cautiously ask her if she wants to talk about it. She puts her face in her hands. You know what? You're probably the only person who thought this was a remotely good idea. Therefore, probably the only one I can complain to. Everyone else saw this coming, I'm sure. As outcomes go, this was not particularly stealthy. She just looks up. She doesn't look angry anymore, just upset. Oh no, she was so happy before. I do not know why I thought that in becoming my mate's pet, she would somehow start acting differently than the way she always has. Relationships are hard, and nobody understands. Oh, no, I mean, they're a very common form of social interaction. I think most people, especially past the age when their genetic contribution is legally required, understand or face certain culling. Okay, never mind that. You were trying to do a thing and it clearly did not work out. So things didn't work out with Vriska? You could say that. At first it was everything I wanted. She knows you, right? Be nice sometimes. But then she just started ordering me around. Like I had to do what you said. Because I was a maid sprite. Like, maybe the reason she agreed in the first place because she wanted that leverage. You know she's upset, but she isn't getting visibly emotional. Instead, as she talks, her eyes narrow and her voice grows icy with anger. She grows very still, her muscles held taut. She kept trying to use me to get back with our friend who sensibly dropped her already. Like Kekra and Tezri. Although I still have any cash with them after so obviously taking leave of my senses enough to... Ezra wasn't stupid enough for that. I felt like she just wanted me to, like... Maybe because she doesn't have enough other friends, so she had to get the most out of me. Her voice is trembling with anger now. Jeez, that's rough. Honestly, it sounds to you like Kenya dodged a bullet. When you first saw Kanya had a crush on this girl, you kind of assumed that someone as composed and rational as Kanya would be drawn to someone who would compliment her as well, but you just watched her walk into a train wreck. Well, encouraged her to. It's probably good she broke up with Fiskra. I didn't. Oh, well, but you're right. She stalks over to her husk top and throws the top open so violently it nearly breaks. She opens a window and starts typing. Her claws hit the key so hard that one of them pops out and flies to the ground. You know what, Friska? I did just want to date you. I want to feel the same things I felt and treat me like a matriarch, and whatever this is, it isn't what I wanted. Excuse me? What are you saying? Kanya slams the screen down and turns away, then puts her hands over her face and bursts into tears. You can't help but feel a little awkward. Are you there? Kanya glares at you. No, this is your fault, right? I do not think you have shown yourself to be competent enough in this area to try and fix things now. Can you please just leave me alone? Yeah, you're probably going to turn this around. Leaving probably is not the best thing you can do for Kanya now. You know what, sadly, and zop the fuck out of there. Aww, poor baby. She was actually one of my favorites in the Homestuck. So I'm gonna back off. No reason, you just say, just curious. Kanye gives you a suspicious look. Okay, well, kind of in the middle of something. You can just while away the time until it gets dark. Sure. You watch her for a few minutes as she finishes up conversation, then starts working on her things around her room. But having seen what you've seen, you are determined to find some way to help her. If you can't fix her interpersonal problems, maybe you can figure out something else she enjoys. Full of investigative spirit, you start gathering your evidence. Start to snoop. Spying got you this far. Spying is great! Oh, no, it's not. Never spy. You move through Kanya's bookshelf. She has a number of sewing pattern books, which you assume might have some kind of whimsically gruesome twist congruent with the rest of the world building on this planet, but you pretty much just look like sewing pattern books. There is one thing on the shelf in your own language. It's not a book, but a stack of printed out pages bound together in a distinctly homemade way. It's a Suburb Beta walkthrough. At the top, it is covered with familiar intricate prose. You're pretty sure the events described in this document never happened in this timeline you're currently making. But whatever source Kanye got this from is not bound strictly to one timeline. These are a number of books featuring shining white figures, mostly women, prominent fangs, and various colored blood dripping from their cruel and elegant mouth. They're all dressed in an explosion of brightly colored fabrics. Strange, something about their sparkle strikes you as strangely familiar. You just must be thinking of vampires. There's no reason you would know anything about whatever their rainbow drinking inhibiting troll equivalent is. Most of these covers features a swooning troll of varying genders, clearly about to have their throats torn out sexily. Most of the rainbow vampires are being menaced by all wielding chainsaws. A loud buzz makes you look up. You can't help but notice that Kanya is tending to her top rays with a large chainsaw of her own. Okay, you're putting this all together. The bright colors around her house, the choice of weapon, the love of sunlight. Kanya's heart desires clearly to date a sexy vampire. Maybe that's what AG is. You wonder if you could just make this happen for her. Maybe on this planet, jot some fantasy. You clearly throw it to get Kanya's attention and then casually wonder aloud if Terry has any kind of non-living creatures. Oh, I mean the undead. Yes, the undead. Where might one find the undead? It's not difficult. They chomp past my hive in the hordes every day, slavering and so on, trying to get in sometimes. It's all coming together. They must be the root of Kanya's fascination. You start to form a plan. The next few hours, you keep a trained eye on the window. Sure enough, within an hour, a group of strange shambling creatures lurches into view. You yell and point out the window, drawing Kanya's attention, and then zap yourself out there in front of the horde. Now that you're up close, you can see these guys are not exactly the debonair creatures of the night from Kanye's book covers. More like zombies. Big, slow, stumbling things. Half of them are falling apart. Still, needs must. You're going to note one of them for Kanaya. You stand your ground and lurch towards you, trying to select the one most alluring. Suddenly, Kanaya is at your side, out of breath from running. She's wielding her chainsaw. Are you actually a blurt of sense? Don't fight the undead. This is suicidal. We weren't trying to fight them, but there's no time to explain that because they attack you anyways. A great monstrous arm backhands you to the ground, and monster claws tear through your gown and your shoulders, lifting you by it. The creature opens up a mouth full of more teeth than you thought could fit inside there. And you're falling. You hit the ground and roll, dirt grinding into your wounds on your arm. Hey, Kanaya. The creature lands next to you, twitching slightly. Kanya's chainsaw gleams with black blood. He twirls and bisects another undead thing, but the third bear hugs her from behind and lifts her, its maw opening wide. You scramble to your feet and throw yourself at Kanaya, grabbing her kicking legs and squeezing your eyes shut to concentrate. You zap. Please don't let the monster have come with you. You open your eyes. The monster did not come with you. Only its arm did. Kanaya shakes herself a little, free with a disembodied embrace. Blood pools at her carpet. She does something to get rid of her chainsaw, which she's suddenly holding a tube of lipstick, which she opens, slicks out a fresh coat of black onto her lips. You slowly catch your breath, and you're about to offer an apology, but something makes you pause. Kanaya is staring at the pools of blood. Cautiously, guiltily, leans down and wipes her finger through the mess. Then she brings it to her mouth and delicately licks. Makes a face and spits the blood out. Then she looks at you, flushing emerald with embarrassment. Oh, you think you made a mistake. Kanaya doesn't want to date a vampire. She wants to be a vampire. Pretend you do not see that. You smile cautiously. It's okay, you tell her. You embarrass yourself by your foolish actions. Yes. Why did you do that? Also, how did you teleport? Will you be coming back to that one? Do not mistake me. You will be coming back to that one. Do not mistake me. I cannot understand why anyone would look straight into the horde of undead. You look down. Well, it's kind of just... When she said undead, you were picturing something else. Another kind of creature that was dead, but now isn't, and a little more appealing. Understanding dawns. Oh, I see. Well, that's understandable. Vampires are just so cool. They're so cool and hot, and wouldn't make sense for anyone wanting to be one. I do not know what a vampire is, but I believe we're on the same page. Maybe I misjudged you. Perhaps you have a greater intelligence and finer taste than I originally inferred. Maybe, you say, and do you bet anyone with taste would find a kind of aesthetic intriguing, and even someone like the tentacle therapist. Kanaya freezes. What? How do you know? Did you just... who is that? She clearly clears her throat uncomfortably. Whoever that is, I hope you're alright. Also, well... She looks embarrassed again. Thank you for saying so. You nod, wondering if she should say more, but you should keep your friend's secrets, just like you are going to keep Kanye's vampire's fantasy secrets, because that's what friends do. Aww, embarrassed awkwardness. And one last thing while we're at the beginning. I do not spy on the troll communications. No, even if you don't get caught, it's not a good way to begin a friendship. Much fairer to start on even footing. Besides, you already have an in. You ask the troll how she knows Cataract. She looks bored by this conversation starter. Sorry, but I was actually kind of busy when you came in. I'm not going to consume you to a fiery death outside in the light. Appreciate some personal time. Here, you say. Of course. The troll gives you a suspicious look until you turn away enough that she can be assured of privacy. She goes back right to chatting with her friends. Yeah, I love that outfit. It's adorable. For a while, she gets up and starts working on a dress she's sewing. She keeps getting frustrated, ripping it out and redoing it to get it perfect. She's not being rude to you, but she's ignoring you. You attempt to engage a few more times, but she keeps answering politely, but she just refuses to be pulled into shenanigans of what a lasting friendship could form. For several hours, the sun begins to slip below the horizon, and the world in twilight. The troll go on the islands. Well, it should be safe for you to leave now. But she lightly but firmly directs you out the door. Polite goodbye. Shoo shoo. And with that, I'm gonna leave this here. I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives, and may the stars forever guide your path wherever it might lead you into the future. Bye-bye.